morning, children. Today we are going to see Civics Chapter 5 Judiciary. Okay. Okay, children. Before we enter into this chapter, let me ask you a question. Okay, what are the three organs of the government? The three organs of the government are legislative, executive, and judiciary. Yes? In the last class, we saw about why do we need a parliament, right? For what purposes? To enact laws and to execute the laws, right? So, we saw about legislature and executive. In this chapter, we are going to see about the third organ of the government, judiciary. Okay? See, children, the Constitution of India has made the judiciary independent of the other organs of government. This means that the judiciary can do its work without interference from any other organ of government. So it can even give verdicts against the government. Yeah. Besides, it has the power of judicial review. So, see children, judiciary, it means in Tamil, Needithurai. Okay. So, what is judiciary? Needithurai na enna? Judiciary is the organ of the government which settles disputes through interpretation of laws. Interpretation means explain and applies the law also, because to punish lawbreakers, to settle disputes, to protect the citizens' rights, including fundamental rights, and to prevent the violation of the constitution. Okay. So, what is judiciary? Judiciary is the organ of the government which settles disputes through interpretation of laws. Got it? So, the laws enacted by the legislature, right? And it is enforced by the executive, isn't it? Yes. If, however, people violate laws, they have to be punished, right? Yes, if we violate the rules, what will happen? We will be punished as of now, right? So, the disputes arising between people or organizations have to be resolved. Then only law and order can be maintained in the society. Yes. So, through this judiciary, the law and order can be maintained in the society. So, these important functions are performed by the judiciary. Okay, we will see it in detailed manner. Children, what do you mean by violation? Violation means breaking a law. ஒரு லாவை வந்து நம்ம பிரேக் பண்ணி நோ நீங்கள் ஹெல்மெட் யூ ஷுட் வேர் ஹெல்மெட்னா நோ வி ஓன்ட் வேர் ஹெல்மெட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அந்த லாவை பிரேக் பண்ணால் அதுக்கு பேர் வயலேஷன். ஸோ வயலேஷன் மீன்ஸ் பிரேக்கிங் எ லா ஆர் encroaching someone's fundamental rights. This both will come under violation. Okay. See children, now we are going to see about the role of the judiciary. See, what is judiciary? Judiciary is the organ of the government which settles disputes through interpretation of laws, isn't it? Yes. Now we are going to see the role of the judiciary. The role of the judiciary are, first one is settlement of disputes. It means dispute resolution. Then second one is judicial review. Then third one is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Okay. Now let me explain about dispute resolution. See children, judiciary in India resolves disputes. Dispute na enna? Oru sanda. ஒரு மிஸ்அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் இதெல்லாம். ஓகே. ஸோ ஜுடிஷியரி இன் இந்தியா resolves disputes that may arise between citizens and government, between two state governments, between center and state governments. See children, here you should understand, I hope you all have heard if any problem comes, if any regarding land or anything, what will happen? Then we will go and meet in the court, right? Because we know very well court only resolves the disputes, right? So the function of the court is settles disputes and punishes the guilty, right? So simply we can say the court or judiciary solves disputes between citizens. Yeah, we know very well, right? Then citizens and the government. For example, let me tell you. Actually, government has brought 8-lane expressway, uh, like 8-lane Salem to Chennai Green Corridor, 8 வழி பசுமை வழி திட்டம், right? This project has brought by government, but people of in order to bring that project, what will happen? They have to acquire, they have to acquisition of land, right? But the farmers generally, those who are having land, agricultural land, that farmers strongly opposed these projects. Then they approached courts. What is that? Hearing is going on. So like that, if any dispute comes between citizen and state government, also will be uh, resolved by the judiciary. Got it? Next, between two state governments, we know very well, for example, Kauri water dispute, right? Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, both states are having Kauri water disputes, but both state government are approaching where? Supreme Court, right? So that also, that in that case is also going on. Then between center and state governments, for example, if central government brings any project, if it affects the particular state government, immediately that state government will approach the court to get what is that, to ban that project, or to avoid to come to their state. So in this way, whoever faces a problem, they will approach the court to get justice. Got it? So, what is judiciary's role in dispute resolution? It plays a very significant role in resolving dispute between citizens and the government, two state governments, then the center and the state governments. Are you clear? Okay. Now we are going to see about judicial review. See children, the judiciary has the power to modify or cancel a particular law if it finds that it violates the basic structure of the constitution, which it is based on fairness and equity. See children, simply we can say, if any laws passed by the parliament, that time if the Supreme Court thinks that no, this law, if they implement this law, it will affect the people, it will affect the structure of the constitution, it will affect the people's fundamental rights, citizens' fundamental rights. So we should not let it applied in the society. In this way, so judiciary has power to strike down the law which is passed by the government. Got it? Now we are going to see about upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. See children, every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. So that the Supreme Court brought the rule that Article 21, which provides every citizen the fundamental right to life, also includes the right to health. So Article 21 provides every citizen the fundamental right to life, also includes right to health. எப்படி ரைட் டு லைஃப் ஒரு பேசிக் ஃபண்டமெண்டல் ரைட்டும், அந்த ரைட்ஸ்குள்ளேயே என்ன இருக்குது? ரைட் டு ஹெல்த். நமக்கு வி ஷுட் கெட் ஹெல்த் கேர். ஸோ ரைட் டு ஹெல்த் இன்க்ளூட்ஸ் the right to life. Which article provides this provision? Article 21. Okay, so for example they have given one case history, and if anyone affects, if they are not treated properly, they should be paid compensation by the government. Okay, so that articles 21 provides the fundamental right to life, includes the right to health. Got it? See, children, in India, the Supreme Court was established on 26th January 1950. Okay, the day India became a republic, the Supreme Court was established. Okay, so where is the Supreme Court located? At New Delhi. Yes. Now we are going to see about an independent judiciary. See, children, நீதித்துறையின் சுதந்திரம், the independent judiciary. Okay, so what do you mean by independent judiciary? Independent judiciary means that the judiciary is not under government and does not act on its behalf. So the judiciary can do its work without interference from any other organ of government. Either legislature or executive cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. Okay, so the courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. So simply, the courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. அவங்களுக்காக அது ஒர்க் பண்ணாது. It works and independently. Okay. Children, you imagine a situation in which a powerful politician has encroached on land belonging to your family. Encroached means akiramipu. Okay. So within the for example, within this judicial system, the politician has the power to appoint the judges. What will happen? Really, will we get justice? No, because obviously judges will be acting as a partially. Okay, yes, in favor of politician only, right? Because politician has power to appoint the judges, right? So they used to do favor for them only. On the contrary, now the judges are not appointed by the politician, and now the interference won't be there. How justice, whether we will get justice or not, definitely we will get justice, right? So that here the courts ensure that there is no misuse of power of the legislature and the executive. Anyone can approach the courts if they find that their fundamental rights have been violated. So what is an independent judiciary? Actually, here independent judiciary means that the judiciary is not under government and it does not act on its behalf. Okay, so they don't act on their behalf, means government's behalf. கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்காக அது ஒர்க் பண்ணாது. ஸோ த கோர்ட்ஸ் ஆர் நாட் அண்டர் த கவர்மெண்ட் அண்ட் டு நாட் ஆக்ட் ஆன் தேர் பிஹாஃப். ஸோ ஹியர் there is no interference from the other two organs such as legislature and executive. Okay, so one aspect of this independence is the separation of powers. Yes, already we have seen about separation of powers. In fact, it is the key feature of the Indian Constitution. Yes, the separation of power means that other branches of the state like the legislature and the executive cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. So the courts are not under the government. Got it? And do not act on their behalf. So this is the separation of power. Got it, children? But all judges in the High Court as well as the Supreme Court are appointed with very little interference from these other branches like legislative and executive. Okay, once appointed to this office, it is also very difficult to remove a judge. Okay, so the courts ensure that there is no misuse of power of the legislature and the executive, and also judiciary plays a crucial role in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens, because anyone can approach the courts if they believe that their rights have been violated. Are you clear, children? யாரெல்லாம் அவங்களுடைய அடிப்படை உரிமைகள் ஃபண்டமெண்டல் ரைட்ஸ் அஃபெக்ட் ஆகுதுன்னு நினைக்கிறாங்களோ அவங்கெல்லாம் கோர்ட்டை அப்ரோச் பண்ண முடியும். அந்த அளவுக்கு நீதித்துறையின் சுதந்திரம் இருக்குது. அதுதான். ஓகே. See children, now we are going to see the structure of courts in India. Okay. See children, there are 3 different levels of courts in India. At the lower level, we have subordinate or district courts. Then these courts hear many kinds of cases. At the state level, we have high courts. In fact, there are 24 high courts in our country. In your book, it is written 21, I think, right? But I have old edition. It is written in 21, but as of now, there are 24 high courts in our country. The high court is the highest authority in a state. Okay. At the top in the Supreme Court, actually it is the foremost judicial in our country. It is a apex court. Okay. See children, there are several courts at the lower level, while there is only one at the apex level. Top, supreme. Okay. So the structure of the Indian judiciary is like a pyramid. So the Supreme Court, the next High Courts, and below the district courts. Okay. We have integrated judicial system. So integrated judicial system means that the decisions made by the high courts are binding on the lower courts. Okay, so you can understand, like we have a single and united judiciary. This means a case may be taken from the lowest court to the highest court through appeals. So lower court la enna solrangalo idu ellame consider பண்ணி higher supreme court வரைக்குமே போலாம். Okay. You know children, we have a single and united judiciary. See children, this usually at the district or tehsil level, taluka level la. Okay, district level yagattu taluka level la irukra lower courts will handle many kinds of cases, because from the ground level itself people will approach the court, so that lower courts will handle many kinds of cases. Okay. So each state is divided into districts, we know very well, right? So these district courts are presided over by a district judge. Okay, but each state has a high court, which is the highest court of that state. So state level la edu highest court? High court only. Then at the top is the Supreme Court, that is located in New Delhi. Already I have told you, right? And this Supreme Court is presided over by the Chief Justice of India. Okay. At present, who is Chief Justice of India? Mr. S.A. Bobde. Okay. So the decisions made by the Supreme Court are binding on all other courts in India. Okay. So the integrated judicial system is followed in India. Okay. See children, now let me show you the 3 levels of courts. Okay. See children, Supreme Court, this is the final decision maker. Okay. Then next High Court. High Court is the highest court of a state, right? Then subordinate or district courts are lower courts. Okay. See children, are these different levels of courts connected to each other? Yes. They are. Because in India, we have an integrated judicial system, right? Already I have told you. So, another way to understand this integration judiciary is through the appellate system. See, children, what do you mean by appellate system? It means that a person can appeal to a higher court if they are not satisfied with the judgment passed by the lower court. மீன்ஸ் லோயர் கோர்ட்டில் கொடுக்குற ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் அவங்களுக்கு சாட்டிஸ்ஃபைடாக இல்லை, அவங்களுக்கு ஃபேவராக இல்லைன்னு ஃபீல் பண்ணாங்கன்னா தே கேன் கோ ஃபார் அப்பீல் இன் த ஹை கோர்ட்ஸ். தட் இஸ் கால்ட் appellate system. Okay, through this also we can understand. For that an example we will see. Okay, actually in February 1980, Lakshman Kumar married 20-year-old Sudha Goyal, and they lived in a flat Delhi with Lakshman's brothers and their families. But on 2nd December 1980, Sudha died in hospital due to burns. So her family filed a case in court. When this case was heard in the trial court, 4 of her neighbors were called as witness. They stated that on the night of December 1st, they had heard Sudha scream and had forced their way into Lakshman's flat. There they saw Sudha standing with her sari in flames. They extinguished the fire. They tried to put off the fire by wrapping Sudha in a gunny bag and a blanket. Sudha told them that her mother-in-law Shakuntala had poured kerosene oil on her and that her husband Lakshman had lit the fire. So during the trial, members of Sudha's family and her neighbors stated that Sudha had been subjected to torture by her in-laws and that they were demanding more cash, a scooter and a fridge on the birth of the first child. As part of their defense, Lakshman and his mother stated that Sudha's sari had accidentally caught fire while she was cooking. On the basis of this and other evidence, the trial court convicted Lakshman, his mother Shakuntala and his brother-in-law Subhash Chandra and sentenced all 3 of them to death. But in November 1983, the 3 accused went to the High Court to appeal against this verdict of the trial court. So the High Court, after hearing the arguments of all the lawyers, decided that Sudha had died due to an accidental fire caused by the kerosene stove. Lakshman, Shakuntala and Subhash Chandra were acquitted. Acquitted means the court declaring that a person is not guilty of the crime. Acquitted means the court declaring that a person is not guilty of the crime for which she was tried by the court. யார் வந்து ஒரு குற்றவாளின்னு வெடிக்ட் வந்தவங்களை இல்லை ஹீஸ் நாட் அ கில்ட்டி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரிலீவ் பண்ணி விடுறது, அந்த க்ரைம்லேருந்தே அவங்கள ரிலீவ் பண்ணி விடுறாங்க. ஸோ in this case Sudha's mother-in-law, husband and his brother-in-law all were acquitted. Okay. In the 1980s, women's groups across the country spoke out against dowry deaths. வரதட்சணை கொடுமையால் இருக்கிற அந்த இறப்பை பற்றி, வரதட்சணை கொடுமையை பற்றியும் அதனால் இறந்தவங்களை பற்றியும் across the country பேச ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. விமென்ஸ் குரூப் in the which year in 1980s and all. Okay. They protested against the failure of courts to bring this case to justice. So the above High Court judgment deeply troubled women and they held demonstrations and filed a separate appeal against this High Court decision in the Supreme Court through the Indian Federation of Women Lawyers. So through these lawyers again they went for appeal in the Supreme Court. So in 1985, the Supreme Court heard this appeal against the acquittal of Lakshman and the 2 members of his family. So finally the Supreme Court heard the arguments of the lawyers and they declared the verdict. Actually It was different from that of the High Court verdict. Why? Because they found Lakshman and his mother guilty, but acquitted the brother-in-law Subhas because they did not have enough evidence against him. So the Supreme Court decided to send the accused to prison for life. So here, what we should understand, our Indian judicial system is integrated, and that a person can appeal to a higher court if they believe that the judgment passed by the lower court is not satisfied. Okay, so that we can understand how our integrated judicial system is functioning. Got it? See, children, high courts were first established in the three presidency cities of Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras in 1862. Then the High Court of Delhi came up in 1966. So, in which year the High Court of Delhi came up? In the year 1966. In which year the three presidencies high courts were established? In the year 1862. Isn't it? Yes. So currently there are 21 high courts, but already I have told you as of now 24 high courts are there. While many states have their own high courts, Punjab and Haryana share a common high court at Chandigarh. Yeah, because Chandigarh is the capital city of Punjab and Haryana, so they share the high court. And the 7 northeast states have a common high court of Guwahati. So Guwahati is in Assam. So Guwahati high court is common for the 7 northeast states. Okay. So some high courts have benches in other parts of the state of greater accessibility. See, for example, Chennai High Court உடைய branch எங்கே இருக்குது? மதுரையில் ஒன்று இருக்குது. ஸோ மதுரை High Court ஒன்று இருக்குது. ஸோ அதனுடைய branches is also there. Now we are going to see the different branches of the legal system. Okay. See, children, court cases are broadly divided into civil cases and criminal cases. See, civil law deals with any harm or injury to rights of individuals. For example, disputes relating to sale of land, purchase of goods, rent matters, divorce cases and all. Okay. So, cases related to property, land, money transactions, will, அது will சம்மந்தப்பட்டது, marriage and divorce etc. are called civil cases. So, what are the cases coming under the civil law? Cases related to property, land, money transactions, will, marriage and divorce etc. are called civil cases. Got it? But criminal cases include cases of robbery, murder, then harassing a woman to bring more dowry, theft, etc. Okay. So, name a few offenses that are associated with the criminal law. What are they? Theft, harassing a woman for more dowry, murder. Okay. But according to civil law, a petition has to be filed before the relevant court by the affected party only. In a rent matter, either the landlord or tenant can file a case. So, civil law petition யார் affected party யாராக இருந்தாலும் அவங்க கேஸ் ஃபைல் பண்ணணும் ரெலவெண்ட் கோர்ட்டில். எய்தர் லேண்ட்லார்டாக இருக்கலாம், ஒரு ரெண்ட் மேட்டர் எடுத்துக்கிட்டோன்னா எய்தர் லேண்ட்லார்டாக இருக்கலாம், இல்லை அதில் டெனண்ட்டாக இருக்கிறவங்க யார் அஃபெக்ட் ஆகிருக்காங்களோ அவங்க அதில் கேஸ் ஃபைல் பண்ணுவாங்க. But in criminal law, it usually begins with the lodging of an first information report, FIR. The expansion of FIR is first information report with the police who investigate the crime, after which a case is filed in the court. Okay. So FIR இதுக்கு போடணும். In civil cases, the court gives the specific relief asked for. See, children, for example, in a case between a landlord and a tenant, the court can order the flat to be vacated and pending rent to be paid. அதாவது ஒரு ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இந்த கேஸில் என்னென்னா அந்த ஃப்ளாட் ஓனர்ஸ்க்கும் டெனண்ட்டுக்கும் ஒரு கேஸ் ஃபைல் பண்ணி போயிட்டுருக்கு அப்படின்னா மேபி அந்த டெனண்ட் ப்ராப்ளம் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருக்கிறப்போ ஓகே இந்த ஃப்ளாட் வந்து வெக்கேட் பண்ணப்படும். அட் த சேம் டைம் இது வரைக்கும் நீங்கள் இருக்கிற பெண்டிங்கான ரெண்ட்டையும் நீங்கள் கொடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஆர்டர் போடுவாங்க. ஸோ தட் கோர்ட் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, ரிலீஃப் ஃபண்டு கேட்பாங்க, நிவாரண தொகையாக கேட்பாங்க. அதுதான் ஓகே. ஸோ the court gives the specific relief asked for. Got it? Now, do you understand, children, what cases come under civil law and what cases come under criminal law? Just you read the book once again. Okay? Let me remind you once again, children. Cases related to property, land, money transactions, will means will, marriage and divorce, etc. are coming under civil law. Okay. Then whereas the cases, criminal cases include cases of robbery, then murder, harassing a woman to bring more dowry and all are coming under the criminal law. Got it? See children, we know very well our constitution guarantees all citizens of India can access the courts in this country, right? So every citizen has a right to approach court to get justice, right? But sometimes due to some practical difficulties, everyone cannot approach the court. Why? Because legal procedures involve a lot of money and paperwork as well as take up a lot of time, isn't it? Yes. So though every citizen in India has a right to justice through the courts, in reality we find that access to courts is very difficult for poor people in India, right? So that the idea of going to court to get justice is often impossible for a poor and illiterate persons also. So that in the early 1980s, the Supreme Court greatly simplified the legal process by introducing the system of public interest litigation or PIL. So what is the expansion of PIL? Public interest litigation, பொது நல வழக்கு. Okay, இதுதான் see now you can hear so many incidents regarding that PIL. Yes, for simple example I'll tell you. I think 1 year or 2 years back, that banner fell on one girl's head and she died, right? So that somebody filed a case against to keeping the banners and flags and all. So that immediately the High Courts ordered the government not to keep banners and that flags and all, because maximum political parties used to keep mega size banners and flags. So High Courts instructed them to avoid keeping this kind of flags and banners and all. Okay. Maximum this kind of cases filed by social activists, அதாவது சமூக அக்கறையோட சமூகத்துக்காக போராடிட்டு இருக்க அந்த ஆக்டிவிஸ்ட், சமூக நலனைக்காக வேண்டி சொசைட்டியோடைய வெல்பீயிங் ஆஃப் சொசைட்டி, சமூக ஆர்வலர்கள் இந்த மாதிரி பொதுநல வழக்க கோர்ட்டில் ஃபைல் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஓகே. ஸோ in order to increase access to justice, in which year the Supreme Court devised a mechanism of public interest litigation or PIL? 1980s. So don't forget it. The பொதுநல வழக்கு, public interest litigation or PIL, was devised by the Supreme Court in the year 1980s. Why? Because in order to increase access to justice. Got it, children? You know, PIL, public interest litigation, has helped to secure justice to a large number of issues, such as rescuing bonded laborers from inhuman work conditions. It means that contract based இருக்கிற அந்த laborers were given low wages, but they were extracted more works. So from that also this PIL helped to rescue these bond laborers. Then release of prisoners kept in jail even after their punishment term was complete, where in Bihar, it happened in Bihar. So even though they have completed their terms, punishment terms, but they were not released on time. Then illegal allotment of government accommodation. So that illegal allotment, அதாவது சட்டத்துக்கு விரோதமாக கவர்மெண்ட் அக்காமடேஷன் quarters there are housing board, housing units and all. Illegal allotment was going on, so that PIL has helped to get rid this illegal works and all. Okay. Then the midday meals given to children in government and government aided schools is because of a PIL. Okay. So the courts exercise a crucial role in interpreting the fundamental rights of citizens. Yes, so that the Article 21 of the Constitution on the right to life to include the right to food. So Article 21 consists of right to life and also right to food. So the state should provide proper food and health care to their citizens. Okay, so that our constitution guarantees, Article 21 of the Constitution, and the right to life include the right to food. Even right to life includes people should get proper health care, isn't it? Yes. And even the right to shelter, it means people who were all evicted from one place, they should be provided shelter. Some places should be allocated for them to reside, otherwise people will suffer, right? So that the right to shelter and housing for the poor came into exist. Okay. Then another issue that affects the common person's access to justice is the it takes long years, right? The court takes long years to give judgment. So the phrase justice delayed is justice denied. It means நீதி தாமதமானது நீதி மறுக்கப்படுவதற்கு சமம். அது மாதிரி ஜஸ்டிஸ் டிலேட், நீதி தாமதமாவது நீதி மறுக்கப்படுகிறது அப்படிங்கிறதான். பிகாஸ் இட் டேக்ஸ் லாங் டைம் டு கிவ் ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் அண்ட் ஆல், தட்ஸ் வை. However, the judiciary has played a crucial role in democratic India, serving as a check on the powers of the executive and the legislature, as well as in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens. Yes, because of separation of powers and the independent judiciary, this and all help to check the powers of the executive and the legislature. Okay, and also it guarantees the citizens' fundamental rights. Got it? So the judiciary serves as a check on the powers of the executive and the legislature, right? Because these are the other two organs of the government. Yes, what are the three organs of the government? The legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. But the power of the check on the power of the executive and the judiciary, and also protecting the fundamental rights of the citizens, is the key features of our democracy. Got it? So independent judiciary is a key feature of our Indian democracy. Got it? So, the framers of the constitution have made judiciary in India independent of the legislature and the executive. So, they have ensured that neither the executive nor the legislature interfere with the working of the courts, isn't it? And also the separation of power, provided the constitution helps judiciary to make independent and impartial decisions. That is very, very important, right? So, the constitution helps judiciary to make independent and impartial decisions, isn't it? Yes. So, we have come to an end of this chapter. Let me ask you few questions based on this chapter. Okay. So, what is judiciary? Judiciary is the organ of the government which settles disputes through interpretation of laws. Got it? Okay. What do you mean by independent judiciary? Independent judiciary means that the judiciary is not under government and does not act on its behalf. Yes? Government today control irukadu. It won't function on its behalf. Okay? It functions on its own. It has freedom to function. So, what are the functions of judiciary? The functions of judiciary are: the judiciary settles disputes and punishes the guilty, right? Then also it solves dispute between citizens and the government, then two state governments and the center and the state government, right? Then it gives the provision of judicial review, right? Which means the judiciary has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the parliament if it finds they don't adhere to constitution. It violates the basic structure of the constitution. Then they have power to strike down it. Okay. Okay, children, I hope you all understood this chapter clearly. Thank you.